the Foul-Mouthed Aussie, and you're listening to that wrestling podcast, and it fucking sucks!
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. It's Money, it's Clyde, and it's Thursday. We're going to talk a little wrestling, baby. You ready, brother?
I'm ready, baby. Ready like biscuits and gravy, baby.
Ready like biscuits and gravy, baby. Yeah, got them in the skillet there, looking good today. How you feeling, Clyde, brother?
Pretty good, brother. We got the Kentucky Derby coming up this weekend. It's a festive vibe, brother. It's a festive vibe.
I like it, man. Styling and profiling over there, brother.
I'm sitting there like Peacock walking through the apartment and shit, man. That's kind of crazy, ain't it?
You kind of got like a Michael P.S. Hayes kind of vibe this morning, baby.
How'd you know you got a camera? I was P.S. walking,
man,
brother.
I feel it, baby. I can just feel it in the air, baby. All right, before we ramble on and run everybody off today, man, let's go ahead. We got a big show today, actually. A lot to get into today, brother. A female superstar is evidently salty. A WWE superstar is on his way out. A SmackDown superstar is returning to NXT. So much superstar news there, right, brother? Brock Lesnar is retiring from MMA. What? Hacksaw Jim Duggan gave his thoughts on Cody Rhodes as a promoter. Golberg is returning. What? And also, there's some guy named Jon Moxley that's been making his rounds around the internet. We're going to touch on that also. Play a little random wrestling knowledge with Clyde. Got some cool ads. Got a special guest in segment 2, Mr. Mike Britt. You ready to hop into all the madness, brother?
Yes, sir.
But before we do, why don't you be so kind as to tell the people of the audience what's going to happen if this show, this channel, this podcast is lucky enough to hit 1K subscribers, baby?
David, beautiful Elvis suit, guitar shot to the brain. Oh, wait a minute, not to the brain, to the back, maybe the buttocks, brother.
Ooh, yeah, that's how we're going to do it, brother. Yeah, so we'll try not to injure you with the guitar shot, though, dude. Yeah,
please. I mean, Dollar Tree's got the little plastic guitars.
It's not going to happen.
Like 100 of them.
Not going to happen, dude. Not going to happen. Keep wishing. So, yeah, man, let's hop into the news, dude, right here. Did you hear that a WWE superstar is on his way out of the company?
Yes, sir, I have heard about that.
Yeah, Mr. Rhino. A while back, in 2016, Rhino re-signed with WWE, but his contract is actually set to expire in July. And IWC Wrestling recently announced via their Twitter that Rhino will be appearing with their promotion at some point in 2019. So this has everybody on the internet, speculating that, well, since Rhino is taking an outside booking, his time with the WWE will be coming to an end in July. And, kind of connecting the dots there. What do you think about all that?
I mean, I could see that. I can't even remember the last time I seen Rhino on WWE television. It feels like it's been a while, and probably time for him to move along, man. They ain't really been doing a lot with him, and Rhino's a main eventer on any of the independent scenes. He could be the main event probably every night and rotate in and out of different independent wrestling organizations, bro.
Absolutely, brother. I think the last time we seen him on WWE programming was on WrestleMania 35. He was in the Andre Battle Royal, wasn't he?
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right.
I think it's the last time we seen him, dude. And yeah, speaking of, leaving, I guess, or being upset or whatever, just wanting more airtime, here's another person right here. Female SmackDown superstar is salty about being left out of the Money in the Bank ladder match. Did you hear about that?
I heard some rumblings.
Yeah, so evidently Lana took to Twitter recently to post a video of herself. It's just like a 3-second video. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of funny. You should check it out. She's just like shaking a bottle of salt everywhere, like a big jug of salt, and just slinging it around everywhere. And then she followed it up the following day with this tweet. It says, "I tell myself don't lose hope when my dreams don't come in the package and the timing that I want. Because at the end of the day, isn't it better to dream so big and achieve half than not to dream at all and achieve nothing?" What do you think about that?
Well, she's got some good points, man. But to be fair on the WWE side of things, she's running around got videos with her skirt flying up in the air. That can't look good for a PG publicly traded company, bro.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there, dude. And it's funny. It's like the day before she was throwing the salt out, and then like the next day, it's almost like she took to Twitter with some words of encouragement for herself.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You gotta give it to her for speaking her mind. I mean, I'm a fan of Lana.
I'm a huge fan as well, dude. Yeah, just pointing out what's going on, brother. That's all we're doing.
If we look at WWE's view on it, I could see why sometimes they get upset with her.
Yeah, huge fan of Lana, huge fan of Rusev, and I would like to, of course, my feelings on Rusev, man. I feel like that was the most over gimmick last year, and Rusev should have been pushed straight to the top, brother. Every once in a while you kind of gotta cue in on what the fans are feeding you.
Yeah. Speaking of that, brother, happy Rusev Day to you.
Hey, man, you know what? Happy Rusev Day to you too, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
It's always a special day anytime. Like if you celebrate Rusev Day, every day is a momentous occasion.
It's a beautiful holiday.
And speaking of a holiday, one superstar evidently is getting a holiday from SmackDown and returning to NXT. Did you hear about that?
I've heard that there might be a few superstars heading back to NXT.
Yeah, well, we're going to touch on Killian Dane right here. Killian Dane is rumored to be on his way back to NXT, and here's a little quote from Dave Meltzer right here. Dane's roster move may come as soon as tomorrow's NXT tapings. From Full Sail University, Dave Meltzer noted, Dane is heading back to the black and yellow brand for what happened to Sanity in the 2019 Superstar Shakeup. Dane's roster move, could come as soon as the next NXT tapings, and there's no word yet on Nikki Cross, but as of now, she's slated to be on Raw. And they're married.
Yeah, she might end up following him back to NXT. I really hope not, man. Nikki Cross, I think, is somebody that could be a huge star on any wrestling show. I really enjoy her. She's almost like a throwback, man. It's that kind of maniacal character.
Yeah, she does. She has that perfect vibe for the whole situation, man. She has the anger, the I don't know what it is. Like you said, there's something almost visceral about her, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm a huge fan, man. I really am. I would like to see her on SmackDown, but that's just me, brother.
Yeah, see her on SmackDown Live, brother. Did you see that? Speaking of little craziness that's been going on, did you read the rumors on the internet recently about Lars botching a spot during that Hardy segment on Tuesday on SmackDown?
Yeah, I did see that. I can believe that, man. That dude is super aggressive.
No, he didn't hurt anybody or nothing like that, dude. Actually, if you just read the headline, didn't read the article, what he actually did was, he came out to the ring, after the Hardys relinquished the belts, and then R-Truth came out and he beat up R-Truth. But then he was supposed to smash the Hardys on the side of the ring, and he never did hit the Hardys. But then after it cut to Lars walking away, and then it cut back to the Hardy on the side of the ring just laying there beat down, but he was never actually hit. You know what I mean? I guess they was going to try to tie it in together, they're trying to say Lars injured Jeff, and so that when Jeff comes back healthy, I guess they can continue some kind of feud, or they're just saying that to build up Lars more as a legend killer,
Yeah, sometimes that could be the kind of stuff that can really be a detriment, man. Vince could see that, and next week Lars is out there jobbing to the Red Rooster or something, brother.
Oh wow, yeah, I hope not, man, because I like seeing these monsters on. I like seeing these monsters on the show, brother. So yeah, hopefully it was just one little small botch from Lars there, and hopefully he gets the train right back on the tracks here next week, brother.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's a throwback, man. He's a mean, nasty heel. There ain't nothing pretty about him, and I like it.
And speaking of keeping the train on the tracks, brother, we're having trouble doing that today, but we do have to step out and pay a few bills, and we'll be right back after these commercial messages, okay, brother?
Yeah.
Segment number 2 coming up with Mr. Mike Britt, baby. Got any words?
Mike Britt, man, super fan, Superman, super guy.
Hello, I'm Richard, but you can call me Dick. And I'm going to talk about something today that not a lot of men really like to talk about. But sometimes after a long day in the saddle, I get a little itching in my nether region. And that's why I got with my friend Peter here and created a wonderful product. You tell him about it, Peter.
Well, my name's Peter. I'll tell you, you got an itch and you giddy up. There ain't nothing better for that itch than Texas ball cream.
That's right, it's Texas Ball Cream. You can pick us up at all your local retailers. Just ask the pharmacist for Texas Ball Cream. Yeah, back with segment number 2, baby. And who is with us today? None other than the one, the only, the stinger, Mr. Mike Britt. What's up, brother?
What's happening, man? Happy Thursday to you. How's it going?
Man, everything's going good. How's things down there in Alabama today?
Oh man, a beautiful day, man. Beautiful day today, man. I'm off today, enjoying the sunshine, and glad to be on the show and talk a little wrestling, man. A lot of exciting things going on right now.
Hey, man, we're happy to have you. Nothing like having a few minutes with our good friend Mike Britt here. And, yeah, man, we got a few topics we was hoping to hop in with you today, dude. Did you recently see what Dana White had to say about Brock Lesnar's future in MMA?
No, I haven't. I haven't read the details. I've seen a couple little posts, but nothing in detail about it. No.
Well, really what it was just a couple of sentences. In a recent sit-down interview with ESPN, UFC president Dana White broke some shocking news about the future of Brock Lesnar's MMA career. He told me he's done. He's retired, White told ESPN. We're going to move in another direction with Cormier. And that's the little quote there, man. That's all it is. But evidently, Brock is done in MMA. And then Randall Ortman of Cage Side Seats just recently reported that Brock has actually signed a big deal with WWE. Have you heard that?
I did see that too. I've seen a little bit of that on social media today, and that's another thing I wasn't able to read in detail. But yeah, I did catch a little bit of that. It doesn't 100% shock me either way, really, because as far as the UFC, man, it's a young man's sport. You know, Brock is a beast, but you got some, there's some younger talent coming up that's really hungry, man. And I think if he gets in there and he gets beat, that it just taints his legacy even more. It does surprise me a little bit more with WWE, a little bit, but you can tell his heart hasn't been in it for a long time, and he makes that known. He's did nothing to his vocabulary in wrestling is basically the same old all the time. He's just there for a paycheck. But I think he's made a lot of money. I think he's just ready to sit back on his farm and enjoy his life.
Yeah, and why not? Like you said, the guy has accumulated, who knows? Probably hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career in between the UFC and the WWE. And, yeah, why not enjoy it? But evidently he's looking to re-sign a big deal here with WWE and hang around a little longer. And I'm going to kind of echo what you said about Brock there, man. He hasn't never really taken any effort or any initiative to try to win over the WWE crowd either. He's not really he's not invested much into them, it seems like also.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah, so evidently he's hanging them up, brother, in the MMA arena, dude. And just as he's hanging them up, we've got speculation that Alberto Del Rio is going to step back in there with Tito Ortiz here soon. And you got any thoughts on that fight that's coming up?
I had no idea that Alberto Del Rio even did mixed martial arts. I just learned that recently in the last week or so. But, yeah, he's an athlete, man, and he looks like he could be a tough dude, too. So Tito's still a tough competitor too. So yeah, I think that could be a good draw. I would like to see it.
Yeah, I think so
just
too.
Being a wrestling fan,
I think it'll put some butts in the seats and some eyes on the tube, brothers. So overall though, what's your sentiment about Brock? As a lifelong fan of the product and as a super fan, we all know you're a super fan, man. We've seen the pictures. We know you fly around, dude. You see all the events, so you've had a chance to soak a lot of it in, is what I'm trying to say, brother. And what is your overall what's the barometer out there, of the WWE universe on Brock, and what's your thoughts on him as a competitor in the WWE?
Well, I think he has a hell of a legacy. No doubt has a hell of a legacy for what he's done in MMA and WWE. He's been very successful, going from the WWE on top and then dominating the UFC, MMA world, coming back. He's a huge draw. At this point, he's still somebody interesting to see. He's still a big draw, and I'm not a huge fan of him anymore the way I was in his younger days when he put on clinics with Kurt Angle, The Big Show. He was more passionate. He would do moonsaults, backflips off the top rope. He was extending his vocabulary in wrestling, but he's still a big name, and I think he still puts butts in the seats, man. So when his name comes up, it still draws a lot of attention.
Yeah, well said, and I think that's pretty much that's what I get from everybody, dude, out there. He's a big name, he's a big draw, but at the same time, everybody's kind of cooled on him. They're kind of ready for something new and something fresh. Let me ask you though, say you had somebody like Cesaro, for example, that was Universal Champion for the better part of the last 2 or 3 years. Could you have lived with that? Would you have still tuned in every week? I think Vince kind of worries about putting the title on a guy who's just a wrestler's wrestler, like Cesaro, for example. And I'm just using him for an example, as opposed to a guy who's just a draw like Brock, who's not necessarily the most technical guy in the world. And what's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think you could do it. I don't think you could do it. I wouldn't say Brock has a lot of charisma. I mean, Paul Heyman does all his talking, but there's something about his presence. I mean, if you've seen this guy in the airport, you'd be like, he's a freaking monster. He's got that presence. He's got that draw about him. Cesaro is a wrestler's wrestler, but he's not the kind of guy that is the whole package, should I say, that could carry a company. I don't believe he is. Though I enjoy watching technical wrestling like that, he's just not that kind of guy. He just doesn't draw people in like that, and I don't think he would hold the attention. He's not as intriguing.
No, I appreciate you sharing that with us, because I like to hear stuff like that from someone who's, I go to events, maybe 1 or 2 a year. Not like you, brother. I know you're out there, man. You are in the trenches, brother, and you hear the voice of the people, man, and that's why I like having you on, and that's what I wanted to hear, because me and Clyde have actually had that debate in the past. Why not give the belt to somebody who's a performer, who's going to be there every night, week in and week out? But evidently it probably would put a few less asses in the seats, according to Mike Britt here, brother. So yeah, thanks for sharing that with us, man.
No problem, man.
Yeah, so let's move on here. Evidently, recently, Hacksaw Jim Duggan sat down with Wrestling Inc. on their weekly WINCLY podcast to discuss a number of topics, including his thoughts on Cody Rhodes as a promoter. And here's what he had to say. It wasn't a stretch for Cody to start promoting. Dusty was running the Florida Championship Wrestling back in the day, and I think Cody's got it in his genes. And do you have any thoughts on Hacksaw's thoughts on Cody?
I agree with him. The best thing that ever happened to Cody Rhodes was leaving WWE, and I think it's great because of what's going on with AEW. Yes, I believe it is in his blood. I believe it is. I believe he's got that passion for it, and I just love it. I love what he's doing, and I love the direction they're going with the Young Bucks and Cody and everything like that. And let me just say about Hacksaw Jim Duggan, man. This is one of the guys I got to meet a few years ago at an independent a match that I went to. But, man, this guy is super nice, man. I can't say enough about Hacksaw. Hacksaw is generally a very kind man, and he really cares about his fans. I actually had to walk away from him because he continued talking. He's a very nice guy, and I know he's been going through a lot of health problems of late, man. So just want to wish him all the best luck in the world, man. But yeah, I respect his opinion. I agree with him 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, get well soon, Hacksaw. I seen recently, too, he was in the hospital, man. And thanks for sharing that little tidbit there about Hacksaw. Doesn't it always make you feel better, like when you meet one of your childhood heroes or your childhood icons, and they're actually polite and, like, receptive to you? Doesn't that even just make you rank them higher on your list, your mental list of superstars,
It really does, man. I heard Clyde say something a few episodes ago about meeting John Cena, and I met John Cena when he was the first time he was United States champion. He beat Rene Dupree, I believe, at maybe WrestleMania. I might be wrong, but he was riding in the car with the Basham brothers, and the Bashams was in the car. He came up to the barricade, and there was a whole slew of people out there waiting to meet him. And he just said to everybody, "Look, y'all, I'm not leaving until I shake every hand. I sign every autograph. Don't worry." And he stayed out there over an hour meeting people. Now, would he do that now? He's a bigger star, maybe not. But it made me feel good that he signed my autograph and stood there and talked to me. So, yeah, it does make you feel good because I feel like as a fan, we spend so much time with these characters and with these wrestlers, and we want a little nod when we meet them. So it does make you feel good. So, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say this too. I know not every moment is a good moment to catch a wrestler or anybody that's like out there in the public realm like that. It's not always a good moment. I'm sure every wrestler's had their bad moments with fans when they run up on them when they're trying to get on a plane or eat dinner or something like that. So I'm sure they all have bad stories. But so it's good to hear some of these good stories being spread around out there too, brother. Because it's not all bad. A lot of these guys are just regular people like us and truly enjoy what they're doing and truly appreciate us pulling for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We all have good days and bad days, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, well said, brother. So yeah, speaking of good and bad days, dude, I think it's going to be a bad day for Dustin, dude, when they have this Double or Nothing event, dude. Did you see actually what Cody had to say in that Double or Nothing video when he cut his promo on Dustin?
No, I didn't. I seen Dustin's, but I didn't see Cody's.
Man, I just thought it was pretty good since we was kind of on the topic of Cody as a promoter, man. And man, what he did in this video is just really generates some heat. He pretty much tore apart everything, dude. He picks apart like Triple H. Like he takes shots at bodybuilders. He takes shots at the old Attitude Era and basically says, that their time is now, and this is an era of AEW, an era of technical wrestling, and his battle with Dustin is not brother versus brother. It's generation versus generation. It's basically what he's saying, brother.
Wow. Huh. Wow. Yeah, he called that, man. You know what? He's absolutely right. And if you look at the things that are shining on WWE right now, it's like the NXT and stuff like that, and it is the technical wrestling. And yeah, he's absolutely right, man. The momentum is definitely with AEW for sure.
Yeah, man, I just thought it was pretty cool. Like, we were just talking on Cody as a promoter, and he's doing a hell of a job of promoting his upcoming match with Dustin, man. I think this guy, just everything he touches just seems to turn to gold, brother.
Yeah, it really does, man.
So what did you have to share with us today, brother? You got any topics for us?
Well, man, I tell you, you know that I'm a big fan of the old NWA leading into the WCW days, because I'm a big fan of Flair and Sting and the Road Warriors and all those guys from Atlanta in the NWA and WCW. And I'm just really excited. I seen that Golberg is going to do a match in Saudi Arabia with WWE, man. I'm excited about that and who he might possibly face, man. I love Golberg. I love when they bring back those characters, man, even if it is for one big match. So I'm excited about that, man. That's pretty cool.
Man, that should be exciting. And back when that last Goldberg run happened, I don't know, was maybe approaching 2 years ago now, I was thinking, man, why can't he just stay a little longer? Like, when they gave the title back to Brock so quickly, I was just like, oh man, like, I was hoping the Goldberg run would have lasted just another 6 or 8 weeks or something, man. So yeah, hearing this news just had me jacked. I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. I'm excited about seeing Goldberg back out there.
Yeah, me too, man, because I would love to see him against Taker, and I know Taker's on that card. I don't know if that will happen, but that will be cool. And he's had interest to fight Roman. He shared interest to fight Braun Strowman. So these could be some it wouldn't be the most technical matches, man, but I'll tell you, the hype around it and just these big behemoth men going at it, man, I'll dig it.
Yeah,
I would love to
just
see it.
legends going at it. And personally, I would rather see a Goldberg and Undertaker match than I'd be more invested in that than I was the Batista and Triple H match per se. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it has me jacked, man. It has me jazzed to see him back out there. And I know these Saudi Arabia events have gotten a lot of backlash from fans and from the media out there, dude. And I don't want to hop into all that, but what I do want to say is it has provided the opportunity for this match right here, dude. So that's one good thing, one good takeaway from it,
And let me just add this too, man, because every time you think, because I'm a huge Sting fan, man. Every time you think Sting's supposed to ride out and that's it, it always surfaces up, and he will say something about people who he'd like to work with. And just recently, he said he would like to work with Bray Wyatt, and he still has a hunger to do something with Taker. So I know people want to see CM Punk come back, and I know Clyde wants to see Carlito come back, but dude, I still got hope that maybe Sting would do one more match. I would love to see him and Taker. Maybe it's just a pipe dream, man, but I would just love him to do one of Saudi Arabia matches,
You're giving me goosebumps, brother, because yeah, I agree, man. I would love to see it myself. Why not lace him up one more time, dude? And why not hopefully get a win, brother? I just want to see the Stinger go over one time in WWE, brother.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Well, Mike, you got anything else for us today, brother?
That is about it, my friend. That's about all I got today, man.
That's all you got, brother. Well, thank you for taking a few moments to join us, man. And if you see that Hulk Brogan around, man, will you give him a message for me?
I most definitely will.
All right, here it is.
You suck.
All right, there it is, brother. Yeah, so thanks for joining us today, Mike. We're gonna hop out real quick, pay a few bills, and we'll be right back to close the show out with Clyde.
All right, my brother, listen.
The following is a paid advertisement. That Wrestling Podcast is not responsible for any claims, guarantees, or products in this ad.
Hey ladies out there, you having trouble getting somebody to pay you a few dollars? Well, contact Paulie and Paul's Intervention, Mediation, and Protection Services today. Intervention.
You need us to intervene, smack a couple guys around? No problem.
Mediation. We can mediate your problem today. Protection.
You need your money, you need it now. We'll go find them, smack them around. Nobody's got to know a thing.
That's Paulie and Paul's Intervention, Mediation, and Protection Services, also known as PIMP. Welcome back. What a segment. What a guest. Mike Britt, all the way from Alabama, baby, taking a few moments to join us on the show. Now we're back with Clyde to wrap things up. What's up, brother?
Not a lot, baby.
And I know you've been wanting to get into this. We're going to play a little random wrestling knowledge with Clyde, also touch on like a little CM Punk news. But before we do, we're going to hop right into this topic. I know you've been wanting to touch on it. Did you see the new Jon Moxley vignette? Dean Ambrose returns as Jon Moxley. Did you have a chance to check that out, brother?
Oh yeah, 5 or 6 times, and I want to touch on your nerves a little bit. You need to admit you was wrong, brother.
Oh yeah, well, wrong about what? Wrong about what? Clarify, because not everybody listens to every show.
Dean Ambrose is gone.
I've been saying all along he's staying with the WWE, and I'm going to say why. Here's why, dude. And let me say this before I do. It looks like a pretty damn expensive vignette, so somebody had to pay for that. That's all I'm saying. And also, if you notice on that account too, it's he's followed and he follows a lot of WWE accounts and WWE stars. I will say that too to support my case. And also, yeah, man, I've never seen the WWE give a farewell show just to somebody personally when they're leaving, like a special farewell pay-per-view to somebody that's supposedly going to work for the competition. Just doesn't make any damn sense to me at all, brother. So if he doesn't leave, I will eat my words, brother. He has yet to leave, though, right?
He's out the door, brother. I think he probably, he's made millions. So he could easily have fund that promo, no problem, brother.
Oh, that's very true also. Not saying that he couldn't. I'm not saying Ambrose is some kind of vagabond or peasant. Yeah, he definitely has a few shillings in his
pocket.
pocket.
His name isn't Ambrose anymore.
I'm sorry. Yeah, excuse me. I'm not saying Moxley. Johnny Moxley.
So Johnny Moxley.
John Moxley. Yeah, man, so it's going to be interesting.
That sounds like how you should say it, too.
It does. It just feels like, I got a buddy named Tinsley, and I just always say his name. What's up, Tinsley? How you doing, Tinsley? It's like you just got to say it like that, man. Yeah, I don't know why.
It sounds better.
It does. It has a nice ring to it. Yeah, dude. So overall, man, we can go back and forth all day about Johnny Moxley and Dean Ambrose and all that. But in the end of the day, what do you think he does? Do you think he ends up with AEW?
Here's what I think is going to happen, dude. I would almost bet on it. Maybe we will bet. Me and you, brother, we'll bet. I think first episode of the new show for AEW, I think it starts with Moxley coming out right at the very beginning.
Wow. Hot take, brother. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, if it happened, but I'm going to stick by my guns. I'm going to wait and see what happens, dude. I know everyone thinks he's gone, but let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see, brother.
Fair enough, gentlemen.
I was reading recently, too, Bully Ray was giving some thoughts on the Moxley vignette and the whole situation. Did you see what he had to say?
No. What did he say about it?
I don't have it up in front of me or anything. I'm just going to kind of summarize. He just said that he didn't really see WWE kind of throwing away all them years of work and all the millions of dollars they sunk into Ambrose, just to recreate him as Moxley. He said that would kind of be a waste on WWE's part. So he don't really know where he's going or where this is heading. But then he did kind of put a little caveat on that. He said, although I have seen Vince throw away hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars just having Braun something for Braun to have something to tear up for a 3-minute segment. So I guess you never know.
Yeah, I really believe he's gone, and I think all the tributes that they did with him, man, is something that they should have done in the past, especially guys like always Bret Hart, man. He deserved a better send off than what he got. I think it was a deal where they was like, man, Ambrose is one of the hardest workers they ever had. Let's do something nice for him instead of burying him on the way out the door.
That would be good, and hopefully that's what's happened. If he is leaving, I could see that. And then if they're I guess changing their tune on the way they treat people, but I'm just kind of basing what I'm guessing on just on past performances by them and the way they do stars, generally speaking, on the way out of the company. And he's been given, like you said, the complete opposite treatment. And if this was the way they was going to start treating talent on the way out the door, then I would think that would help them even more in the future because people would be more receptive to working with them again.
Yeah, they need to, and they have. This I think it's a PR move. I think it's, this is a publicly traded company. I really believe it's a PR where they're like, okay, he's on his way out the door. Instead of doing what we traditionally do, let's do the opposite and show this guy we appreciate all of his hard work. Imagine that. I mean, that's the right thing to do, really.
Well said, dude, and I think that's a good way to kind of end the Ambrose and Moxley talk for the day, brother. And speaking of doing what we traditionally do, we're going to play something right here that we traditionally do every single day, brother. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's hop into it, brother. We call this one Random Wrestling Knowledge with Clyde. All right, brother. Yeah, audience, feel free to play along at home. Every day we ask Clyde 3 random wrestling-related questions, and they are literally coming from out of nowhere. Are you ready, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Hot and fresh out the skillet, brother. Question number 1. What is Lars Sullivan's real name? This is going to be a nice and easy one for you here.
Good Lord. I'm going to say his real name is Lars Sullivan. Final answer.
Mr. Producer Man, show me his real name is Lars Sullivan. Final answer. And Mr. Producer Man never ready for his segment. Oh, so sorry.
Damn.
His real name is actually not Lars Sullivan, brother.
I feel like Triple H named him that, man. Ain't there one of the members of Metallica, Lars?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. His real name's actually Dylan Miley. He was born July 6, 1988, just for, another little note there for you. Yeah, so 0 for 1 out of the gate, brother.
It's like, let's take Lars and Kevin Sullivan and put that together. We got a wrestler.
We got a wrestler, that's right. Throw together Minnesota Vikings and the Raiders, and bam, you got your wrestler, baby.
You sound like a little Michael P.S. Hayes, brother.
Hey, man, that's why they got me on creative, baby. Right now I'm looking up and down these damn baseball rosters trying to create a new superstar.
That's a good place to look. I have heard they've been reaching out to some of these ex-NFL guys, which is nothing new in the world of pro wrestling.
Yeah, I did see that recently in the with the NXT like the training center and their tryouts and stuff. Yeah, brother, but let's not. I know you're trying to avoid these questions. I see you trying to duck them. I'm like a goldfish. You can just get me straight off topic, but you're not, brother. Question number 2. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Who introduced Hulk Hogan to Vince McMahon?
Ooh, Hulk Hogan to Vince McMahon. Lord. Let me see. I'm going to guess maybe Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart or Jerry the King. I'm going to go with Jerry the King Lawler. Final answer.
Mr. Producer Man, show me Jerry the King Lawler. That was a tough one, dude. I know it was kind of tough for you there, dude. I was like, man, that's some random wrestling knowledge right there, brother, right?
Yeah, I'm not really a Hulkamaniac either, bro. So those are kind of tough.
Well, luckily, I'm gonna re-edit the show after we're done. I'm gonna bleep that out, dude.
Shot fired.
I'm gonna change your words to "I'm really a Hulkamaniac."
Brother.
All right, it was Terry Funk.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
A little shout out to the Funks there, getting funky with the Funks, brother.
Now, I am down with the Funkster, though, baby.
All right, here we go. Question number 3, brother. Question number 3. Bret Hart first wrestled professionally for his father. What is his father's promotion called?
That'd be the Calgary Stampede Wrestling. Final answer.
Mr. Producer Man, show me. Now, you want to repeat? No, I'm just joking with you. The Calgary Stampede Wrestling. Final answer.
You threw me a bone.
I figured, man. I was like, this is kind of, especially question number 2. I was like, he ain't gonna get this one, dude. I got him. I got him right where I had you in my sights, man. I just let you walk away,
Yeah, that was a good one. I felt like you throw me a bone. You'd be like, what was the color that Bret Hart made famous in wrestling?
Right, dude. It was like we was like the '97 Seattle SuperSonics, and I was Gary Payton on a fast break, and you was Sean Kemp crashing the lane, dude. And I threw a perfect alley-oop, and you caught it and flushed it home, baby. That's what happened on question 3.
What fruit did Carlito use?
Yeah. Speaking of fruit, now let me ask you, dude. Are you an apple guy, an orange guy, or like a pear guy?
That's a beautiful question. I'm more of a banana guy because, they're easy. They just go right in your mouth. And it's smooth, brother. Goes down smooth.
I like it. You know what? I'm more of a banana guy, too, dude. I eat lots of bananas. So let me see. Mr. Producer Man, show me banana. Yeah, man. Got the bonus question today. All right, brother.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
Got the bonus question today. No, seriously, man. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with this CM Punk talk, man. And before we do, let me say, man, you're live on the radio with Dave. I'm hitting you in the face with the D. All right, you ready, baby?
By God.
Question number 3. No, let's move on to the CM Punk thing, though. Seriously, dude. Did you see the news that broke that evidently CM Punk is booked to be announcing an MMA event the same night as Double or Nothing?
Yeah, unfortunately, took a little wind out of my sails, but I did read that at least 100 times. That was shared almost as much as the Moxley information, man. It was all over the place out there on social media.
Yeah, man. So, I know you're kind of thinking, like you said, like you think Ambrose is kind of coming to AEW, and I know all along you've been kind of thinking Punk might be too, man. But this one might be kind of, contrary to that, brother, because evidently it's like the event's in Coachella, California. It's same night as Double or Nothing, and I read a little speculation in an article I read. I believe it was on Mandatory.com, and it said that though if Punk hustles and catches the right flight, he can make it to Las Vegas in time for the show. Just like a little side note, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm still banking on the first television show they do, AEW. I'm looking at Ambrose to start the show and Punk to end the show with the huge bang there.
Man, wouldn't that be awesome, dude? Yeah, so if you hadn't seen that news, check it out. We got a little bit of news update on that on our website at thatwrestlingpodcast.com, and it's all over Facebook and the internet, though, so if you hadn't seen it, you've probably been under a rock or something, brother. And speaking of,
sometimes you get attacked for liking CM Punk because he lost a couple MMA fights, and I'm like, well, that stuff's not real, man.
Right. and speaking of wrapping the show up, brother, you want to go ahead and take the time to put a bow on today's episode?
Sounds good to me. Everybody out there that's listening, hit the like button. Even better, hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a wrestler, tell anybody. Please help us. If you don't like us, let us know. Hit us with the King Kong Bundy Splash for the 5 count. And we will be sharing this on our Facebook affiliate pages like we always do. And those pages are the Bliss Army, the Becky Lynch Mob, the Hitman Hart Fan Club, Kofi Kingston Club, I Heart Pro Wrestling, Carlito Caribbean Cool Fan Club. Wrestling is our passion, Wrestling Unleashed, which is on fire. All Access Indie Wrestling, LJN Maniacs, All Elite Wrestling. Let's get rowdy with it. Wicked Thoughts Music for Thoughts, and one of my personal favorites, the WWE Retro Figure Fan Club.
Ooh, yeah. Clyde, I want to tell you, brother, I appreciate you having that list ready every single day because I know you don't do a damn bit of preparation for the show, but you do take a moment to get the list ready. So for you having that, you have just made my list, brother. And Mike Britt, I know you're out there listening, Stinger. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We always truly appreciate it, brother. People out there listening, if you like us, check us out on the web, thatwrestlingpodcast.com. If you don't like us, let us know. We'll do a job for you on your show. That's the way we roll right here on That Wrestling Podcast. And having said that, we will catch you guys on the next one. Probably Monday. It might be Monday. See you Monday.
Mike Britt.
Ooh, yeah.
Carlito Caribbean Cool.
And you can't teach that.
That's right, baby. If you will, baby.
The following is a paid advertisement for Scrotal Treatment Centers of America. That Wrestling Podcast is not responsible for any products in this ad. Do you suffer from ACE, also known as atypical constant ejaculation? Well, you are not alone. And now, thanks to the Scrotal Treatment Center of America's patented new Semenese technology, you can get your problem taken care of. It's a series of 3 invasive laser-guided injections that'll have you up and running in no time. That's the Scrotal Treatment Centers of America. Not only am I a spokesman, but I'm a client.